Oh, I got the wrong date. I'm here. I actually don't feel great. I took some medicine earlier, but I'm here.
What you think about when you're born into a fire.
Yeah, if you'd refresh the stream, it's already fucking changed. But thanks for the correction.
Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, we kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. The brains are bigger than the doubt we've been thinking for ourselves.
I don't know. I felt weird all day. My ankle is fucked up. It was feeling great this morning, then I weeded it for like 6.5 hours. So it's kind of fucking smoked right now. I have that on these big jobs. Yeah, I have everything on it. I don't know what it is. I've been doing a bunch of different stretching techniques and shit, and it felt so good this morning. Like I wasn't even limping and shit. Even like I got out of bed and maybe like 30 minutes after like working the stiffness out, it felt so fucking good. Then I went out like a retard and smoked it. Done. I'll be the I'm the 35-year-old guy you'll see getting out of the gas station to get gas tonight when I leave here with a cane. That's me. What? Oh, hold on. Let me stop this. That's not the... What? Hold on.
Man, I can't talk to you now. Why do people call me one of my...
Oh,
no.
He is right. It's a remix. He is right. Damn. I've been sending this guy the wrong link for like 20 minutes. Hold on. Let me find a link. I'll roll the intro.
Hey Daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Will Bard. This is Cold Beer Confessional. Thank you for joining us. What's happening? Let me grab this link right quick. So this guy asked for like the outro song, and I guess I sent him the wrong one that had like Doug and shit in it. I've been telling him it's the right link for like for like a month. I'm like, that is the right one. He's like, no, it's not. I'm like, yeah, it is. Okay, that's the right one. He could have just hit videos and found it, but I found it. There you go. Done. Now that's taken care of. What's happening? I don't know. I haven't felt great today. I got a lot of work done, but I didn't feel great about it. My sister's getting ready to move up to Kentucky. I talked to her today. She's finishing her stuff. She's supposed to be out of here by May 28th, which is the end of the month. Not that far from now. So that's happening. What else? Liam went on his field trip to Dollywood today. I didn't get to see him after his field trip because I've been at the office for the last couple hours taking medicine and trying to feel better. I don't know. My stomach's been kind of tore up. My ankle is fucking trash. I don't know. I'm thinking about having it amputated, getting one of those Neuralinks put in and a robot ankle. We'll see. Either way, thank you for joining us tonight. Like I said, I'm Will Bard. This is Cold Beer Confessional. If you want to support the show, go to coldbeer.fund. If you don't. What else? Our good friend, Bologna Fried has made a new video calling out his good friends, part of the, what's the name of the church? Global Vision Baptist Church. So let's check that out. It's called Where Are the Children? Where Are the Millions of Dollars? # Greg Locke, # unlocked.
2.5. It's two couples and a gentleman that are meeting. That just recently, it's kind of a long story, but we're used to leaving the church. That's part of it. But they were very, I don't know, there were some very big discord sores, and one of the gentlemen that we dismissed was on video.
She teaches middle school. She was mostly Liam's teacher last year. But she still has like 1 or 2 classes with him this year.
Taking cash out of an offering a while back, and that's neither here nor there. So they've been having these weird meetings, and what concerned me was some of the people that they're kind of yoked up with that really don't even come to our church. They keep spreading this. We have an adoption foundation at our church, for example. And we've given like $1 million literally to adopt babies.
That's awesome.
So these people started this crazy QAnon nonsense that were actually using the money to traffic children, and which totally miffed my spirit.
Oh no. Oh no. So anybody that they turn on at any point in time that has any charity to do with children, it's obviously trafficking children. It can be feeding homeless children or just feeding children. And if they don't like you, then you're really using that to scope out children so you can come back and kidnap them later.
Right. And so I'm like, okay, are these people involved in something, or are they doing something at this table to try to set us up so his embezzlement don't come? But in the video, you see a little bit of a clip first. The guy turns his phone around, shows the other guy. They laugh a little bit. You can't see it, but then he turns the phone to the black gentleman beside him, and you can make the video bigger. There's no sound, and it's clearly, I watched it 15 times to make sure I wasn't crazy. It's a little Caucasian boy. He's probably 6 years old, and he's got duct tape across his mouth. Okay. And the guy and then he turns his phone down and puts it on the face. It's a little Caucasian boy. He's probably 6 years old. Laugh a little bit. You can't see it, but then he turns the phone to the black gentleman beside him, and you can make the video bigger. There's no sound, and it's clearly, I watched it 15 times to make sure I wasn't crazy. It's
Well, that's not an Asian boy. That looks like an adult to me. And he does have duct tape across his mouth, but it says "Ask Pastor." I don't know what they're talking about here.
It's a little Caucasian boy. He's probably 6 years old, and he's got duct tape across his mouth. Okay. And the guy and then he turns his phone down and puts it on the face down on the table, and they just all start laughing for the next 5 or 10 seconds, and then the video just goes on and then it ends. Somebody, I guess, either in our church or is directly related to somebody in our church, saw him in there and just said, I'm just going to take a video, and it just so happened to be at that moment when they took it.
Oh, so it's somebody recorded that without them knowing about it, I guess.
Somebody recorded it at the restaurant.
So it wasn't. Oh, okay. So it wasn't a
so they had a meeting at the restaurant about Greg Locke trafficking children.
Response to a video of that, like with the internet where people will watch videos.
They just picked up their phone and said, "Hey, here's these people over here," and then it just so happened to be they were looking at the phone with a little boy on it at that time.
Gotcha. When did this happen?
Today at Oscar's, a little Mexican restaurant in Providence. Yeah. So I was just like, you know what? It's on my phone. I don't want to be liable for it. I'm calling the police.
I got you.
That's right.
And you, like I said, have you got a copy of that video?
Yes, sir. I do. It's in my. They sent it to me on my Messenger and Facebook.
Would you be by chance be able to email that to us?
Yeah, I'm sure I could.
I don't know.
Could look at it. And then who is the gentleman that you're referring to? That was a from church.
Oh, the people in the videos?
Yes.
It's Greg and Lisa Borchers.
Do you know the spelling on that last name?
Borchers. Greg and Lisa. They live over over by the goat.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Matt and Jen Rockwell, Rockwell, are the other couple, and Matt is the one that has the phone in his hand that turns it around and shows it to Greg and Lisa, and then to the black gentleman, and his name is Brian.
Do you know what Brian's last name is?
I could find out, but I'm not sure just right offhand. He's kind of new, but he came with them, kind of in the whole weird timing.
Do you know where Matt's staying at by chance?
Matt and Jen.
It's almost like he's making a police report. I don't know.
Here in Mount Juliet. I can find out where. I'm sure it's like in our new members.
We can do some digging and just make sure that they were local to us. And just while I've got you on the phone, do you have phone numbers for any of these people? For Greg or Matt?
I do. I don't for the Rockwells. I've only ever given them my email. They want to burn me up because I felt a little weird about them when they first started coming.
Yeah.
But for Greg,
can you spell Matt? I'm sorry. Can you spell Matt and Jen's last name again? Rockwell. Is it Rockwell?
Yes. Right. They're from. Greg's been here a good while. Greg Borchers has been here a good long while. Matter of fact, he did something with Metro some years ago. I take that back. He always said that he did something with Metro, and so he keeps a badge in his wallet to try to get himself out of tickets and all that stuff. So I always got tired of playing cop all the time. I'm like, you're not a cop, bro. Don't do that. You can get in trouble. And so I don't know. Like I said, it may have nothing to do with anything. And once the video comes in, it's a video that you can put your fingers on and clearly make it bigger. And once you make it bigger, and he turns that phone around the second time, it's clear as a bell. And it may be nothing, but my question is, who would even laugh about that? I mean, I could barely watch.
So he's reporting. So he says that crazy QAnon people are. He's got a charity that does adoptions, and they're reporting him as trafficking children. And then secondary to that, he received a video of this group of people who had a picture of a 6-year-old Caucasian boy with duct tape on his mouth, and he's reporting them because he thinks something might be going on with them. So he's doing the exact same thing that the QAnon people did to him.
Watch The Sound of Freedom without crying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I said, yeah, it's there's crazy people out there.
Yeah.
So once I can get a copy of that video, it'd be best to email that, and
Okay.
I'll give you the email for Detective Fouch, who will be.
So the description says, on the morning of Sunday, March 24th, Greg Locke was private messaging with a woman who used to go to GV, a Global Vision. She shared the conversation with me in real time. At one point, she asked Greg Locke why he filed a false police report against the Rockwells and the Borchers. As you can see from the screen grab, he responded and said that it wasn't him who filed the report. He said it was one of his teenagers. Based on the police report, we knew there was a phone call with Greg Locke and the police department that initiated the false criminal complaint against us. Interestingly enough, a week prior to this text exchange where Greg said one of his teenagers made the report, we submitted a FOIA request to the Mount Juliet Police Department to obtain the audio recording, which we had in our possession. So we knew Greg was lying in the private message. We could only assume he's told that lie to others to try to cover up for how awful it is that he filed a knowingly false police report. When we found out Greg was lying about who filed the complaint, we went back to MJPD and asked them to reopen the investigation of Greg Locke for the Class D felony of purposefully filing a false police report. They did. We sent another FOIA request to get the video of us that Greg Locke sent to MJPD and the interview of Matt with MJPD, but MJPD couldn't provide us with that at the time because it's now an open investigation into Greg Locke. In the video below of the audio recording of Greg Locke speaking to MJPD, you will see the stock photo we used to make a photo of a man with duct tape on his mouth that said, "Ask Pastor." Backstory, Matt made the photo on Sunday, July 15, 2023, the day after I'd received an email from GL, Greg Locke, telling me I could still attend church, but I had to sit quietly and refocus, and that if I didn't stay quiet, he wouldn't either. Matt made that photo as a joke for how we would show up to church. He was showing it to everyone at lunch on July 17, 2023. The man who recorded us was Sean Richard. As you can see from the photo he took of us, which he sent me, the timestamp is 5:34 p.m. The audio recording between Greg Locke and MJPD is 6:25. That's how quickly Sean filmed and took a picture of us and sent it to Greg Locke, and Greg Locke spoke to the MJPD. The audio recording is very telling. Here are some of the bullet points to consider as you listen. No one stole money from the offering plate. No one was having weird messages. The Adoption Foundation was given $1 million to who? Prove it. He talks about the people who were yoked up with, but we have no idea who or what he's referencing. We never said Adoption Foundation money was being used to traffic children. We'd never said anything about trafficking children. I'm not sure who Greg Locke is insinuating is embezzling money, but we were not meeting for lunch at Oscar's concocting any plan. Sean Richard filmed us without us knowing about it. There was never an image of a little boy. Never, ever. Brian did not come with us to GV. We met Brian at GV through Michael. We no longer speak to Brian or Michael. Greg says he felt weird about us and he didn't want us burning him up. And yet every staff member told me how much Greg loved me, which I thought was weird because I hadn't ever really said much to him. But he was blowing up my Facebook page, liking all my posts and leaving long comments praising me. Everyone would say, Pastor Greg never engages anyone like that. Tomorrow I will post a video of him crying after he baptized me, the same day he told Juanita how much he loved me. Greg Borchers never plays cop. This was so serious of an accusation, MJPD assigned a Homeland Security agent to it. There was someone coming from Kentucky to meet with us, but it had nothing to do with Greg or GV. He never even made it to Nashville. He canceled on us last minute. He had no idea that we decided to meet anyway. he also had no idea that we were going to Oscars. We absolutely cannot figure out how Greg Locke knew we were meeting or that we were going to Oscars. Some have said they think he bugged us and was having us followed. Others have said monitoring spirits. Yeah, he's using demons to monitor you. Either way, it's very concerning.
Kind of the lead on this with me looking into this. So it's the letter P, the letter FOUTCH at MT Juliet, so Mount Juliet -tn.gov. So P Fouch at Mount Juliet.
Well, that's not the only reason he called police. It was because of the image. He talked about people stealing money from the offering plate, being QAnon people who accused him of trafficking children. He said that somebody was embezzling from the church in the group.
-tn.gov.
Okay, cool.
Like I said, yeah, if you can shoot that to him in an email, like I said, we'll look at it. We also have a TFO, a task force officer assigned through our investigative division that's tasked with the Homeland Security Corporation, and what they do through that is dealing with sex crimes and human trafficking and CSAM material with child predators. And she is fantastic, and we'll definitely be notifying her of this as well. She's actually in training tomorrow, but we will let her know as well. We'll get that video and see if that's something that's anything on their radar that they see, if it's circling around, or if it's, if that's the first time they've seen anything like that. That means that, somebody must have been making the video. But I'm with you. I don't understand how people can.
Yeah, I think Greg Locke basically has the local police department in his pocket.
Can laugh at things.
It seems like they're always there. They're always around. When something happens at his church, somehow they have the shortest fucking response time in the world to get there. He called them on the Flat Earthers. I don't know if you guys remember, he called the cops on the Flat Earthers. They were there in like 3.5 minutes.
Things like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't. That wasn't a meme. You know what I'm saying? It was clearly a picture. I don't understand.
That wasn't a meme. That was clearly a picture. Again, that was an adult's. It was a stock image, and then someone put text over it.
Somebody would just smirk and laugh at that. That was disgusting.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely, we'll get that.
So we'll do some digging on these names and go out and interview these people and figure out what the deal with it was. What time was that at Oscars? In case we need to go pull video or something of them being in there.
I'm thinking like 2 o'clock today.
Okay.
Yeah, because they were supposed to. It's really a weird deal. They totally hate our church at this point. They just want to eviscerate us for anything because he doesn't like the fact that he got caught stealing money, right? And I never even told anybody. It was not a big deal.
There you go. Got caught stealing money.
Just that he didn't know anything because he was working for us. But it's weird because there were 2 other people. We knew the meeting was going to happen. We just thought it was going to be about, hey, let's just show up and eviscerate Locke in the church, right? We didn't know this other stuff was going to happen,
right?
Because I had no idea that nobody was going to be there recording it either. And so it was just weird. It was just weird timing. And so I don't know.
Right. So,
I just wanted to report it. You know what I'm saying? There were 2 other people that were supposed to be there, and for some reason, both of them bailed and did not show up. And they were clearly like on their way because one of the guys is like very antagonistic, and so he was like sending screenshots. He lives in Kentucky, and he was like messaging me last night at like midnight, showing me that he's in Nashville. I'm on my way, and it's about to all go down, and your time is up, and all this. And I'm like, what in the world? This guy's crazy. But he bailed on the meeting. He didn't show up.
I got you.
So, I don't know. I just told him don't come back to the church because we'll trespass you.
Matt and Jen's the one that took the video.
Yeah, let me make sure I got this straight. So Greg and Lisa were at Oscars today, looking at the video with Matt, or did Matt? Who filmed it on from your church?
Who filmed them?
Yeah, who got the camera out?
That I would have to find out. I don't know. They sent it to our head of church security, and he messaged it to me. He said, "Hey, Pastor, I want you to see this. Do with it what you will." Yeah. So he sent it to me. So I'm not sure who was in Oscars that actually recorded it. I'm sure I can find out.
If it's not going to be too much trouble to dig in on that, you can shoot that to Detective Fouch as well.
Because you can tell it's like showing their plate, and then they kind of go up real slow, and then you can tell they They
just,
didn't want people to know they were
they were
recording.
being sneaky about it. But I would like to talk to them as well, just because they were right there and saw it happen and get their perspective on it.
Yep.
So if it's not going to be too much trouble or work, and it won't cause too much of an uproar, if you do some digging on that, like I said, you've got Detective Fauci's email. You can email him information on that going forward. And like I said, the number that I'm calling you on now is for Detective Fauci as well. We're in his office right now. Just was trying to make heads or tails of this and get us some people to go talk to and figure out what the heck's going on with this. So
Gotcha. Give me that email one more time because my pen's kind of running out. I want to make sure I got it just right.
Gotcha. It's the letter P, Fouch, FOUTCH, at mtjuliet, JULIET, -tn.gov. So pfouch at mountjuliet-tn.gov.
Okay, got it. Dash, not backslash.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It seems like he's embellishing quite a bit. If he's not straight up lying, like, I have no doubt someone sent him the picture. It seems like everybody knows that someone sent him a picture. But it seems after that there was a bunch of other claims made. And I don't think it even looks like an Asian kid. Or a Caucasian kid.
Oh, I know Paul Fouch. Okay, cool. Okay,
And if anything, if for whatever reason the email, I'm not going to go through, we can follow up tomorrow afternoon or something if we hadn't heard from you. So,
okay.
And like I said, I'd like to see that, get that video and just kind of look at it and see. Like I said, I'll forward it up to our contacts at Homeland Security, Child Exploitation Division, to see if that's a video that's circulating the internet, which isn't good, obviously, but that tells us that it wasn't made by them. Because the worst case is that's something that they're unaware of, and that means that somebody's making that.
It looks more like a still shot picture.
Yeah, and like I said, they have all kinds. And you said your experiences with human trafficking stuff. They have all kinds of stuff on the internet that can search and go through all that material and see where that stuff originated from, and kind of track them down that way. I hope this isn't something that's going on in our city. So, but these guys. Well, I don't want to go on period, but I know the reality of the world that we live in, and it's tough. But like I said, we definitely need to sit down and talk with Greg and Lisa and say, hey, what's going on with this? So, and figure out anything further. Pastor Locke, you got any questions for us this evening?
No, I don't believe so. I just, like I said, it was on my phone, and I just felt accountable to it. I said, I'm going to just let the law enforcement know.
I got you. When do you think you can...
It is kind of telling, too, when they're like, hey, you filed a police report against us over a fucking stock image, and you claimed all these crazy things. He's like, my teenager did that. I didn't do it.
Email that video.
I'll do it tonight.
All right.
I'll do it tonight.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And I said, like I said, the first time he turns around, you won't know nothing. But when he shows the black gentleman, once you zoom in, you can clearly see it.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, if we hadn't heard from you or hadn't got that email, by after lunch tomorrow or whatnot, we'll give you a call back, okay? Just to make sure that we get the copy of it. So.
Okay. Yeah. And just so you know, so Matt will be the one holding the phone. Greg is the one across from him in the hat.
What just happened? Did the stream go down for you guys for a second? I wonder if that killed my YouTube stream. It wasn't even for a full second, I don't think, but it was down. YouTube's still going. Okay. Anyways, Bonafide follows that up with the previous post is a container, a container commercial for Bonafide Storage.
Hey, this is Tim at Bonafide Storage, and I want to take a minute to show you the difference between a used container and a one-trip container. All right, so this particular container right here, you can look right here on this serial number, and it's right here.
Is there any way that another couple hundred of you guys could also say yes? Let me know it went down for you as well.
Here is a 2010 model, 2010. So this is 14 years old. Still a good container, nothing wrong with it, but it does come over here and look at this. You will notice some dings and scratches.
Does he sell storage containers?
Everything we sell is...
Almost every storage container you get, if it's brand new, you'll know it's fucking brand new. There is an issue with buying storage containers. A lot of times they ship chemicals in them, and the floor in there is wood. So a lot of times they'll be like if they have chemical spills and shit, it would be absorbed up in the wood. Plus, they use some pretty heavy duty. I don't know what you would call that. Some pretty heavy duty sprays and shit on it to make it anti-corrosive and to make the wood to where bugs won't infest it.
It's water wind tight, but it does have dings and scratches. Over the years, these get a little tighter to harder to open. We make sure that they're good to open. This is the inside. All the insides pretty much look the same. You can tell
there you go. See how those spills? Those are mystery chemicals right there.
The newer ones come with like a bamboo floor. When you're buying a container, the way you check is you look in the roofing line and look for daylight and make sure you don't see any daylight.
Have somebody lock you in there, and then when you land in mainland China, you are now a sex slave.
Anywhere.
But if you see daylight, there's a leak.
Or if it's leaking on the inside.
Yeah. Bonafide's supposed to be anti-trafficking. What's he doing with all these children trafficking containers?
And it had a leak or it had a leak repair, you will see.
Tell them about being trafficked in mainland China at Tsuko.
Where rust will be running down the side of the wall, or you'll see a rust spot on the inside. So you definitely want
I know what those are. Those are baby containers.
For that when you're buying a used container. Just like I said, we guarantee ours to be wind and waterproof.
I own one of these. It's packed full of my mom and dad's stuff right now.
Tight. Here's another thing you can check. You can look right here. This one that's 14 years old. And you can see that the gaskets still work, but you can tell they are weathered. It still closes good. And this is a 20-foot used wind and watertight shipping container located here in the Ozarks. This right here is a 2023. You can look right here. It has the date on it. Most of these new boxes come with a lock box. You have to have a special lock, but there's no way to break into this. There's no way to get cutters in here to get your...
There's tons of ways to break into that. I've done it.
Lock off. But you have to order these locks special to go under this. Let's go right here. You'll notice that there are no dings, scratches.
Just because you can't get bolt cutters in it doesn't mean you can't break into it. Come on.
No rust, none whatsoever.
Yeah, mine's a 40-foot, though.
If you want to remove these, when you get it to your house, these stickers are fresh, so they pull right off. Them stickers over there are not fresh. All right, so let's go right here. You'll notice all the rubbers are brand new and how easy it is
brand
to
new
open.
Rubbers. That's a fan. I'm a fan of brand new rubbers.
You can notice the inside, there's no scratches, dents, dings.
There's no areas where the children had to defecate on the floor when he shipped the children over in these containers.
We call this a one trip because it came from China.
So does he get the kids and then give them to Greg Locke, or does Greg Locke order them and he gets the containers? I'm not sure. A one trip because it came from China, and it ain't brand new.
Kind of one time. It's only come across the water one time. Look right here at these gaskets.
Look at
all
these gaskets.
You can see that brand new. We have all these
brand
in
new
stock
gaskets.
here. We have new and used 20s and 40s here on the lot.
Okay, he's got 40s.
In Harrison, Arkansas. You can give us a call at 870-800-4038.
In Harrison, Arkansas. Bonafide lives in South Carolina. Did he move? Or does he just... I know he has different businesses. Like he had Bonafide battery and Bonafide storage and Bonafide this and Bonafide that. But is this just a business there, or did he move? Here's a good one.
Well, tonight we're going to do something a little different than tomorrow as you...
Oh, it's not even Bonafide
we're
talking?
to
Come
each
on.
other based on a million miles from the sun. You probably
Never
learned
mind.
that in night.
He just uploaded someone else's video. What about this one? Is this Bonafide? I like hearing him talk.
Israel is actually connected to America in a very arcane and secret way.
Okay.
So they are, the state of Israel is connected to the American federal system. That's very interesting. That's why
He's just
America
uploading other
sends
people's shit
billions
at this
and
point.
billions and billions of dollars. All the valuable things in the world goes through Jerusalem.
That's bona fide. You want to see something cool? Just because I've already seen this video, I think, but I'm sure you haven't. You guys know what maze runner bots are? A lot of kids compete in this, and engineering teams, college kids, and adults. So they build a big ass maze. They have to build a robot to get to the center or the end of the maze first. Here you go.
People compete in the oldest robotics race. The goal is simple: get to the end of the maze as fast as possible.
The person who came second.
So no one's driving this. It's autonomous. It figures out the maze on its own. When they set it down, it goes. No one's driving. It's not like remote controlled. It figures out the maze.
Lost by 20 milliseconds.
But competition has grown fierce.
When somebody saw my design, they said, "You're crazy."
I don't want to get a copyright strike.
Why is it so much tension? What's writing?
Honor?
This video was sponsored by Onshape. In 1952, mathematician Claude Shannon constructed an electronic mouse named Theseus that could solve a maze. The trick to making the mouse intelligent was hidden in a computer built into the maze itself, made of telephone relay switches. The mouse was just a magnet on wheels, essentially, following an electromagnet controlled by the position of the relay switches.
He is now exploring the maze using a rather involved strategy of trial and error. As he finds the correct path, he registers the information in his memory. Later, I can put him down in any part of the maze that he's already explored.
And said, caught wind of a contest for electronic mice, or Le Mouse Electronique, as they had heard. They were ecstatic. Were these the successors to Theseus? But something had been lost in translation. These mice were just batteries in cases, not robots capable of intelligent behavior. But the misunderstanding stuck with them, and they wondered, why couldn't we hold that competition ourselves? In 1977, the announcement for IEEE's Amazing Micro Mouse Manuals in 1979. But by this point, the contest had garnered enough public interest to be brought.
Wow, that's a terrifying commercial. Oh, of course. Japan, the center of all things evil.
I
just want to see the
nudging it to help it get unstuck.
Got it.
It has to fit all its computing
strategy.
motors.
This is what's interesting.
So
if you ever find yourself in a maze, let's say you're in a hedge maze, you're in some type of sadistic killer's maze, a strategy that always makes it through the maze is follow like the left-hand wall or follow a right-hand wall, but always keep your hand on that wall and always follow that wall. Eventually, you may hit 100 dead ends, but eventually you'll get out. You'll get to the center, right? One wall always has to go to the center, to the end, if there is an end. That's not what these robots do, though. He'll explain in just a second.
Strategy for most micromice is to spend their first run carefully learning the maze and looking for the best path to the goal, while not wasting too much time. Then they use their remaining tries to sprint down that path for the fastest runtime possible.
So they spend one run finding it, and then the next one they start speeding up.
Solving a maze may sound simple enough, though it's important to remember that with only a few infrared sensors for eyes, the view from inside the maze is a lot less clear than what we see from above. Still, you can solve a maze with your eyes closed. If you just put one hand along one wall, you will eventually reach the end of most common mazes. And that's exactly what...
No matter what, if you put one hand on one wall, it doesn't matter right or left, you'll eventually reach the end.
What some initial micromouse competitors realized too. And after a simple wall-following mouse took home gold in the first finals, the goal of the maze was moved away from the edges and freestanding walls were added, which would leave a simple wall-following mouse searching forever.
These are freestanding walls.
Your next instinct might be to run through the maze taking note of every fork in the road. Whenever you reach a dead end or a loop, you can go back to the last intersection and try a different path. If your last left turn got you nowhere, you'd come back to that intersection and go right instead. You can think of this strategy as the one a headstrong mouse might use, running as deep into the maze as it can and turning back only when it can't go any further. This search strategy, known as depth-first search, will eventually get the mouse to the goal. The problem is, it might not be the shortest route, because the mouse only turns back when it needs to, so it may have missed a shortcut that it never...
So this is a strategy you could technically use, but it doesn't guarantee that it's the shortest way.
Tried.
Because the way these mazes are set up for the mice is it's not like the maze in the paper where there's only one way to solve it. There's multiple ways to solve it.
The sibling to this search algorithm, breadth first search, would find the shortest path. With this strategy, the mouse runs down one branch of an intersection until it reaches the next one, and then it goes back to check the path it skipped before moving on to the next layer of intersections. So the mouse checks every option it reaches, but all that backtracking means that it's rerunning paths dozens of times. At this point, even searching the whole maze often takes less time. So why not just do that? A meticulous mouse could search all 256 cells of the maze, testing every turn and corner to ensure it has definitely found the shortest path. But searching so thoroughly isn't necessary either. Instead, the most popular micromouse strategy is different from all of these techniques. It's a search algorithm known as flood fill. This mouse's plan is to make optimistic journeys.
So here's where he explains it. It's kind of over the top, but hopefully we'll understand it.
Through the maze. So optimistic, in fact, that on their first journey, their map of the maze doesn't have any walls at all. They simply draw the shortest path to the goal and go. When their optimistic plan inevitably hits a wall that wasn't on their map, they simply mark it down and update their new shortest path to the goal. Running, updating, always beelining for the goal. Under the hood of the algorithm, what the micromouse is marking on their map.
So basically, it knows where the goal is, and it makes the shortest 90-degree route to it. So you see right here in the green, it just says, okay, I'm gonna go out here and make a right, and then that'll lead me to the goal. But instead, every time it hits a wall, it just updates it and tries the next shortest way, and then hits a wall, and the next shortest way, and hits a wall until it gets there.
Is the distance from every square in the maze to the goal. To travel optimistically, the mouse follows the trail of decreasing numbers down to 0. Whenever they hit a wall, they update the numbers on their map to reflect the new shortest distance to the goal. This strategy of following the numerical path of least.
So you can see the numbers updating. It wants to always be going down in numbers. If for some reason it got over here and the numbers started going up, then it wouldn't go that way, right? It goes all the way up to like 14 or 18. It would change direction.
Resistance gives the flood fill algorithm its name. The process resembles flooding the maze with water and updating values based on the flow. Once the mouse reaches the goal, it can smooth out the path it took and get a solution to the maze. However, it may look back and imagine an even shorter, uncharted path it could have taken. The mouse might not be satisfied that it's found the shortest path just yet. While this algorithm isn't guaranteed to find the best path on first pass, it takes advantage of the fact that micromice need to return to the start to begin their next run. So if the mouse treats its return as a new journey, it can use the return trip to search the maze as well. Between these two attempts, both optimized to find the shortest path from start to finish, it's extremely likely that the mouse will discover it, and the mouse will...
So it automatically finds two paths and decides which one is the shortest one. So each run, they have to go back to the starting position. So the first run, they go out and they find a path. Then when they go back to the starting position, they don't go back the way they went. They pick a different path. So they've gotten two paths, and they pick the shortest one, and that's the one they're going to run. Does it guarantee that they got the shortest path? No. But it's pretty likely, right?
Have done it efficiently, often leaving irrelevant areas of the maze entirely untouched. Floodfill offers both an intelligent and practical way for micromice to find the shortest path through the maze. Once there was a clear strategy to find the shortest path, and once the microcontrollers and sensors required to implement it became common, some people believed micromouse had run its course. As a paper published in IEEE put it, at the end of the 1980s, the micromouse contest had outlived itself. The problem was solved and did not provide any new challenges.
So basically they're saying, like, once this flood fill happened and no one kind of innovated for a while, they're like, okay, it can't get any faster, right? Once we got the speed, once parts are commonly available, you don't have to build custom motors at home or relays or infrared sensors. Once all this is better from factories where you can buy it off the shelf, what are we going to do now? But there's more room for improvement.
In the 2017 All Japan Micromouse competition, both the bronze and silver placing mice
All Japan?
found the shortest path to the goal, and once they did, they were able to zip along it as quick as 7.4 seconds. But Masakazu Utsunomiya's winning mouse, Red Comet, did something entirely different. This is the shortest path to the goal, the one that everyone took. This is the path that Red Comet took. It's a full 5.5 meters longer. That's because micromice aren't actually searching for the shortest path, they're searching for the fastest path. And Red Comet's search algorithm figured out that this path had fewer turns to slow it down.
So this even though this is the shortest path, it takes the least amount of distance. Look at all the straightaways it's got where it'll be at full speed because they have to slow down to turn.
So even though the path was longer, it could end up being faster. So it took that risk.
7.2. He beat him by 0.2 of a second, taking a longer path.
Won by 131 milliseconds.
You know, some Roombas are really fucking smart and some are really dumb. Like, we've owned a couple of them. One of them that we had a camera on top of it and mapped the ceiling and laid out a grid. It mapped the ceiling of the room and laid out a grid and made sure it got 100%. The other ones we had were just really fucking stupid. and they would just hit stuff and then go, or like they would go up to stuff. They wouldn't actually hit it, and then just pick a random direction and do that for a fucking hour until they thought they got 90% of the room. They've got one now. I don't know if you guys have seen it. They got a robot vacuum that climbs your stairs and vacuum your stairs, which is kind of a hassle, right? You have to tug the vacuum up. You have to go up every stair. This one climbs the stairs, and it can sweep or mop or vacuum while it climbs the stairs. It's pretty crazy.
Differing routes at competition are now more common than not, and even just getting to the goal remains difficult, whether due to a mysterious algorithm or...
This would also be, let's see, this would be good for the maze makers to make slightly longer routes that may be faster. That way you would have to choose, like, is it faster to take the shortest route? Is it faster to take a longer route with less turns?
A quirk of the physical maze.
The corner is a little bit like a whoa.
Look at that guy. Oh, he's stuck.
Don't always behave as you'd expect.
For some reason, my mouse has a bug that makes it freeze when saving the route to its memory.
Micromouse is far from solved, because it's not just a software problem or a hardware problem, it's both. It's a robotics problem. Red Comet didn't win because it had a better search algorithm or because it had faster motors. Its cleverness came from how the brains and body of the mouse interacted together.
So it turns out solving the maze is not the problem, right? It never was the problem, right? But it's actually about navigation, and it's about going fast.
Every year, the robots get smaller and faster, lighter. There is still plenty of innovation left, and there's a small group of devotees in Japan busy.
Seems like there's a bunch of old guys that are super into it.
Building quarter-sized micromouse, which would sit on a quarter.
It has to fit on a quarter. That'd be hard to cram all that shit in there.
Nearly 50 years on, Micromouse,
yeah, a Roomba will smear dog shit all over the floor.
Is bigger than ever.
Have you guys, William Osmond had a Roomba competition with knives and balloons, to where you had to pop the other Roombas, like everybody had a Roomba. You had to pop their balloons to knock them out, and then for some reason, he filled his floor full of chocolate pudding and seeing which Roomba could last the longest.
Competitions have appeared solved at first glance before. The high jump was an Olympic sport since 1896, with competitors refining their jumps using variations like the scissor, the western roll, and the straddle over the decades, with diminishing returns. But once foam padding became standard in competition, Dick Fosbury rewrote the sport in 1968 by becoming the first Olympian to jump over the pole backwards. Now almost every high jumper does what's known as the Fosbury flop.
Yeah, but before that, they didn't have any fucking padding. Like, that makes sense. Like, no one's going to land on their fucking neck and head when there's no padding to land on.
Mouse had indeed stopped in the 1980s, the competition would have missed its own Fosbury flops. Two innovations that completely changed how Micromice ran. After all, a lot can change in a sport where competitors can solder on any upgrade they can imagine. The first Fosbury flop was one of the earliest innovations in Micromouse, and had nothing to do with technology. It was simply a way of thinking outside the box, or rather, cutting through the box. Every mouse used to turn corners like this. But everything changed with the Mouse Mighty 3.
So Mighty Mouse 3 implemented diagonals for the first time.
Oh, you're sneaking down here. Right, so does that
turned out to be a much better
turns.
idea than we really thought. And because it's cool, maze designers often put diagonals into the maze now. So, you could end up with a maze where it never comes up, but most of the time it's actually a benefit.
In order to pull off diagonals, the chassis of the mouse had to be reduced to less than 11 centimeters wide, or just 5 centimeters for half-size Micromouse. The sensors and software of the mouse had to change too. When you're running between parallel walls, all you have to do is maintain an equal distance between your left and right infrared readings. But a diagonal requires an entirely new algorithm, one that essentially guides the mouse as if it had blinders on.
Normally, if you're going along the side of a wall or something like that, most of the time you can see the wall all the time. And so that helps you to guide yourself, and you know when you're getting off. But in the diagonal situation, you just see...
It seems like there's extremely young people that do this and extremely old people.
These walls coming at you.
And if you veer even a tiny bit off course, snagging a corner is a lot less forgiving than sliding against a wall. Diagonals are still one of the biggest sources of crashes in competition today. But in exchange, a jagged path of turns transforms into one narrow straightaway. These days, nearly every competitive Micromouse is designed to take this risk. Cutting diagonals opened up room for even more ideas. Around the same time, mice were applying similar strategies to turning. Instead of stopping and pivoting through 2 right turns, a mouse could sweep around in a single U-turn motion. And once the possibility of diagonals were added, the total number of possible turns opened up exponentially. The maze was no longer just a grid of square hallways. With so many more options to weigh, figuring out the best path became more complex than ever. But the payoff was dramatic. What was once a series of stops and starts could now be a single fluid snaking motion. How micromice imagined and moved through the maze had changed completely.
Jesus Christ. They moved pretty fucking quick.
Available technology was getting upgrades over the years as well. Tall and unwieldy arms that were used to find walls were replaced by a smaller array of infrared sensors on board the mouse. Precise stepper motors were traded in for continuous DC motors and encoders.
The DC motors give you more power for less size and weight, and so we were doing that. So then you have to have a servo. You have to actually have feedback on the motor to make it do the right thing.
Gyroscopes added an extra sense of orientation. It's like a compass.
Yeah, absolutely.
You had this thing with you.
They came about because of mobile phones, really, so the technology provides people with things which weren't there before. All of the turning is done based off the gyro, rather than counting pulses off the wheels, because it's much more reliable.
But even with all the mechanical upgrades, the biggest physical issue for micromice went unaddressed for decades. One thing you'll see almost every competitor holding is a roll of tape. Once you know to look for it, you'll see it everywhere. This tape isn't for repairs or reattaching fallen parts. It's to gather specks of dust off the wheels in between rounds. At the speed and precision these robots are operating, that tiny change in friction is enough to ruin a run.
Jesus Christ.
If you want to turn while driving fast, you need centripetal force to accelerate you into the turn. And the faster you're moving, the more force you need to keep you on the track. The only centripetal force for a car turning on flat ground is friction, which is determined by 2 things: the road pushing up the weight of the car, or the normal force, multiplied by the static coefficient of friction, which is the friction of the interface between the tire and road surface. This is why racetracks have banked turns. The steep angles help cars turn with less friction, because part of the normal force itself now points in to contribute to the centripetal force required. If the banked turn is steep enough, cars can actually make the turn without any friction at all. The inward component of the normal force alone is enough to provide the centripetal force required to stay on track. Micromice are no different, and they don't have banked turns to help. As they got faster and faster, by the early 2000s, their limiting factor was no longer speed, but control of that speed. They had to set their center of gravity low and slow down during turns to avoid slipping into a wall or flipping over. But unlike race cars, there wasn't anything in the rules to stop micromouse competitors from solving this problem by engineering an entirely new mechanism. Micromouse's second Fosbury flop was almost considered a gimmick when the mouse Mokomo 08 first used it in competition. You might be staring at the video to try to see it, but you won't. Instead, it's something you'll hear. That isn't the mouse revving its engines, it's spinning up a propeller. And while flying over the walls is against the rules, there's nothing in the rules against a mouse vacuuming itself to the ground to prevent slipping.
Dave Otten was the first person I saw put a fan on a mouse.
Negative pressure to stick to the track. That's insane.
But he used a ducted fan, and I think he was really looking at kind of reaction force, blowing the thing down. He had a skirt around, but it was not terribly effective. You have to give him the idea is to let as little air in as possible, and like your vacuum cleaner, when you block your vacuum cleaner, right, the motor unloads and speeds up, and so the current drops. But if you let too much air in, the current's very high, and these are just quadcopter motors, and they draw a lot of current.
At the scale of Micromouse, a vacuum fan, often just built from handheld drone parts, is enough to generate a downward force 5 times the mouse's weight.
Look out.
Yeah, okay.
Jesus Christ.
That's impressive. So how much does the car actually weigh?
About 130 grams. And if you listen, I don't know if you'll get it on the microphone, but...
Oh yeah.
You hear the motor slow down, it loads up.
With that much friction, Micromice today can turn corners with a centripetal acceleration approaching 6 Gs.
Can we build one? Probably.
That's the same as F1
You guys want to build one on the show?
cars. Once nearly everyone equipped fans,
the dumbest fucking smart mouse.
Added control allowed builders to push the speed limit on Micromice.
When it's allowed to, it will out-accelerate a Tesla Roadster, but not for very far.
And they can zip along at up to 7 meters.
You guys want to hear a funny story? So my Roomba, my vacuum robot, I think it was a Shark, but it doesn't matter. It had a remote with it, right? And one day we were at our like a holiday dinner or some shit, and it came out during the middle of dinner, and I was like, I'll stop it, and they're like, don't worry, it's no big deal. Like our family was there, don't worry, let it go. I was like, okay. So I'd already picked up the remote to stop it, to like send it back home. But you could also steer it from the remote. So after he was doing passes a couple times, my mom was like walking back and forth, like getting food ready and serving drinks or whatever. So I started having it chase my mom, like slowly at first. Like it would just be going, and she'd go past it, and it would just follow her to the kitchen. And then it would turn around and come back. And then she'd like go back, then it would follow her to the couch, and it'd turn around and come back. And then she went to the bathroom. She went to the bathroom, so I like, after she went to the bathroom, it followed her to the bathroom, and she like shut the door, and I had it like tap on the door like 3 or 4 times. Then I had to like shake back and forth and then leave. And so my dad caught on to what I was doing. This was like over like 3 hours. So my dad caught on to what I was doing, and she was like, Dennis, I think it's following me. She wouldn't say anything to me because she didn't want to be embarrassed. But she's like, Dennis, I think it's following me. So he told her, that there must be something on the boot. She was like wearing like, it must have been Thanksgiving or something. She was wearing like dressy boot looking things. She's like, you must have stepped in dog shit or something. There's something on your boot. It senses dirt. Or maybe you just stepped in some dirt or some mud, or it senses dirt, and that's how it, which is a complete lie. But he convinced my mom of that. So I had her, it was still following her around. And finally she's like, that's it. And she went over to the door and like took off her boots. and set them by the door. And then she started walking around again. So I like took the robot over to the boots and I like bumped into him a couple times. Then I like shook it like, no, and then turned around and started chasing her again. And she's like, now, God damn it, it's following. Like she flipped out. She's like, now, God damn it, I know it's following me now. It went right over there to my boots and it came right back over here. It was pretty funny.
Per second, faster than most people can run. Every one of the features now standard on the modern Micromouse was once an experiment, and the next Fosbury flop might not be far off. The first four-wheeled Micromouse to win the All-Japan competition did so in 1988, but it would take another 22 years of the winning mouse growing and losing appendages before four-wheeled mice became the norm. With Micromice still experimenting in 6- and 8-wheel designs, omnidirectional movement, and even computer vision, who knows what the next paradigm shift will be.
Your time on the maze actually begins only when you leave the start square, so he's not
Look at that. Look, that's crazy right there. That's insane. It's got a camera on an arm to where it can fucking just cheat.
But if you want to get started with Micromouse, you don't need to worry about wheel count or vacuum fans or even diagonals.
It is, to my mind, the perfect combination of all the major disciplines that you need for robotics and engineering and programming, embedded systems, all wrapped up in one accessible bundle that you can do in your living room. You don't need a laboratory to run it. You come along because you're curious, and then you think, I can do that. That doesn't look so hard. And then you're doomed, really. If it sucks you in, it turns into quite a journey.
At its core, Micromouse is just about a mouse trying to solve a maze. Though nearly 50 years later, it's a simple problem that's a good reminder there is no such thing as a simple problem.
That's pretty cool. This channel is Veritasium. If you've never watched it, let me share the link. I'm sure everybody's probably seen it. But yeah, it's Veritasium. He just does science-based channels. Actually, not only has he made a bunch of science-based channels or a bunch of science-based videos, he's actually made some people pretty upset. And like some other YouTubers that come out and be like, he's fucking wrong, he's a liar and shit. Now, most of the time it does turn out that he's right. I think I've only seen him refuted once, that he had to come back and be like, no, yeah, this was wrong. But one of the videos he did is when everybody's been explained how electricity works. Electricity works as like, the normal way people explain electricity is like water in a water hose, or a chain in a tube, like AC electricity, right? If you took a chain in a tube and you pulled and pushed, it moved the rest of the links in the tube, and that's the electrons of electricity. But that's not actually how electricity works. So he set up an experiment that was, let's see if I can draw it. He set up an experiment where he had a battery. I can remember it right. He had a battery, and then he had let's make a switch, maybe. He had a switch, and then over here he had a light bulb. Let's put it right here. Oh no, a light bulb. Okay. And then he had, how did he do it? He did a wire from here. And then this wire was a light year long. Okay. And then it come back to the light bulb. And then this wire, the negative wire, was also a light year long. It's a hypothetical experiment, obviously. Was also a light year long. And then it came back to the bulb. And the bulb and the switch, I should have just found this video, fuck. The bulb and the switch were 1 meter apart. And he asked hypothetically, when he flips this switch, how long would it take this bulb to turn on, right? Because if electricity is traveling at the speed of light or whatever, close to it, right? And the wires are a light year long, then it should take like fucking 6 months, right? It's how fast a light year is, how fast a light will, or how far light will move in a year. So it should take like fucking 6 months, right? or it should take a long time. It should take a lot longer, substantially longer than what you would think. But because that's not how electricity actually moves, electricity isn't like one electron bumps into another electron that bumps into another electron, but that's the way we're taught it. If you take like a basic either automotive or home electricity thing, you're taught like electron bumps into electron, bumps into electron, bumps into electron, and that moves it. But that's not actually, it's actually a magnetic field that's induced, and electricity doesn't even run inside the wire. It actually runs outside and around the wire in a couple of opposing fields, right? So it actually runs like this outside the wire, and this field is expanding. So what happens is a magnetic field is induced here. What we got? Red. Let's do black. So a magnetic field is induced here on this wire, and that field just keeps expanding, right? Incredibly fast. And it just keeps expanding and keeps expanding until it hits this wire. That is 1 meter away from the light switch. And then that causes a field to start expanding till it hits the bulb. So the light turns on almost instantaneous. Almost instantly, or at least a measurable amount. Like, you won't get the full electrical load there. If you have a 12-volt battery, you're not going to 12 volts there. You won't get the full electric load there, but you'll get a measurable amount of electricity there that will light an LED bulb. And it doesn't matter how long the wires are. The field keeps expanding until it excites the other wires' fields, and that's how it works. Regardless of how long the wires are, which is pretty crazy, because they literally teach you. Hold on. We've just been electricity, chain, and tube. They have like these. They have these demonstrations that are literally like a chain and a tube. Let's see, chain and tube. Demonstration maybe. And I've seen these things set up before, and like that's how electricity was taught to me, that electron pushes electron. Let's see how this is what he ended up doing. Here's the fields better than I could ever draw them. I should have just Googled it. So these are the fields that are induced, these fields around the wires, and those fields get into bigger fields until they hit the other side. That's how it can be faster than what travels down the wire. But when we were taught about electricity, we were literally taught like voltage is like how big the water hose is, amperage is how much pressure you have, and it's like water pushing water to make electricity go. But that's not actually true at all. It's a good way to think of it if you're just wiring something up, but it's not a very good way to think of it if you're actually trying to get to the bottom of an answer of a hypothetical like he had there. Somebody sent me this video. Let's see what it is. I watched some of it, but I don't know what it was.
You are now watching Doorbell News.
We can't answer the door right now, but if you'd like to leave a message, you can do it now.
Sure. Hi, I'm one of your neighbors down the street a few. I just wondered if you guys are burning wood during the summertime as well. It just gets to be I have a hard time sleeping when all I'm doing is smelling what I thought would be fresh air, when all I'm doing is feeling like I'm sitting around a fire. And
she can't sleep because she's smelling wood being burned.
It's kind of like not so great. I just moved here to the community. So, just curious. Thanks so much. Have a great evening.
Thanks for sharing your concerns. You have a good evening, too. Tacoma, Washington, also known as Tacopton.
No, she's... Oh. Did someone call 911? You can call. I'm getting it on video. Just play. Don't go near her.
I wonder what she's on.
Kent, Washington, these officers have a special approach. They tell you they're a food delivery so they can get you to open the door.
DoorDash!
No way, dude. DoorDash. No way. Yeah, that was the HOA president.
It's DoorDash.
They're carbon neutral. They're carbon neutral HOA.
I have a delivery. It's DoorDash. I have a delivery for 103. This is G103. Yeah, I have a delivery for you. Can you open the door? Hi. Yeah, hi. Is anyone else home? Yep. You look for anyone else here? I live here. Okay. There's no one else.
I think it's also disarming that it's a female's voice, right? It's a female's voice, so it's more disarming than if it was just a male. Because if it's a male saying DoorDash and you didn't order DoorDash, that you're going to think, oh, this guy's a raper.
Here, you want to come and check? Yeah, can you come in and check? All right, guys.
It's an everywhere thing as far as like the Veritasium video is talking about. And it's not just to kids. Like it's taught like electricians believe it works that way. You know what I'm saying? Like electricians believe it works that way. But it's actually impossible because if that was true, like when you have a transformer, like a step up or step down, you guys have seen a transformer on a pole? Transformers have disconnects in them that are full of oil. Right, they have a plate that goes this way, a plate that goes this way. There's no contact there. So it would be impossible for electron to push electron to push electron to push electron. It's all magnetic fields. I guess if you're like an electrical engineer, you probably learn different. But if you're like an electrician or an automotive electrical specialist, like you're still taught that way. It's just weird.
San Diego, California. Check this guy out.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure they learn about interference and shit, but so they're taught the basically how electricity works, like a residential electrician, and then they're taught everything else is it has to be by code, right? So there are steps set up to reduce interference or magnetic field overlap and shit, but that's because it's set by code, and some engineer wrote that book. So they learn the basics of how electricity moves by pushing electron, all the way from the power plant. One electron bumps into another, bumps into another, bumps into another, then it goes back the other way for AC. But then when they get to the point of like magnetic fields and interference, they're not doing calculations on that. All they're doing is saying, okay, by code, we can't have this wire within 6 centimeters of this wire within 2 foot of this outlet. That's all they know. Oh. Intoxicated man. So today around 3:30 a.m., this guy was trying to get into our house. He was very out of it and intoxicated. We called the cops. I believe he got the wrong house. They detained him. If you're looking for him, he's okay. The cops have him. Oh, I saw a bear cub today. I was trying to stick around and see. The bear cub ran across the road so quick, I couldn't get like a video of it. I was trying to stick around and see if I could find the mom just to get a video of it. But no, nothing else showed up. So the mom must have been on the other side of the road already.
Bakersfield, California.
Oh my God. It's not that serious, bro. Is that your food?
Oh my God.
Seattle, Washington.
Hey, free my, hey.
Wait a second. Is she in a bathing suit bottom? Or panties?
Yeah, Washington.
I guess that's shorts. God damn. She run up and stole the package.
Hey, free my, hey, what are you doing, bro?
God damn, everybody's naked.
We can't answer the door right now, but if you'd like to leave a message, you can do it now.
He kind of looks like that single party next door. Chicago, Illinois.
They're all naked right in the middle of the fucking... Actually, there's probably a timestamp on that video. What time is it that they're all fucking naked? $1:10 p.m. 1:10 p.m. Everybody's fucking butt-ass naked.
Chicago, Illinois.
These are sad.
An officer comes by with
if that kid wandered out on his own, these are
somebody's missing toddler. Is this your child?
Oh.
I ate the pappy.
Good morning. Good morning. Hello. No, definitely not.
Did you know blue?
No, I have not. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, definitely. Have a good one.
Harrisburg,
Going
Carolina.
going to every door to say, "Is this your kid?"
Strong winds that took place on the 11th.
Summer when it's really hot, you guys just sit around in your underwear? I don't.
These winds were estimated to be going at least 60 to 70 miles per hour. Harlem, New York. We've been getting a lot of footage of these delivery guys not doing the right thing. Let's see what happens.
Taking a picture saying your package has been delivered and dipping out with Amazon does that. When they drop off my packages here at the office, they take a picture in front of the door with like a sitting there, but he takes a picture then fucking takes a shit.
Maybe instead of taking a picture, you should actually drop off the package.
Yeah, a little late now. Maybe not.
Decatur, Georgia. Check this guy out. Meanwhile, I see how we got somebody messing with
you know this person.
Decatur, Georgia. Check this guy out.
Comes up with a sticker. Hold on. So that's the guy, but what's he sticking to it? Fucking condom wrapper? What's that say? Volcano? Volcano condoms. There you go. It's made for your protection.
Meanwhile, in Seattle, we got somebody messing with the breaker box.
That's not a breaker box. That is cable. There's no voltage in that.
Get the fuck out of here, bro.
That's cable or phone. The voltage is in these sealed cabinets. You have to have at least a screwdriver to open most of them.
Hey, grab the gun.
Meanwhile, in San Diego, this guy's still outside, farting up the front door. Meanwhile,
Excuse me, Etsuko? Is this you? Squirts like a volcano, maybe? Is that the legacy you want to leave behind? Somebody get Mr. Etsuko. If he's done dancing, somebody get him on the line. Squirts like a volcano. This guy shit his pants.
Get the fuck out of here, bro. Hey, grab the gun.
Meanwhile, in San Diego, this guy's still outside, farting up the front door.
I'm about to have an eruption.
Meanwhile, in Seattle.
Bullshit.
Meanwhile, in San Diego, this guy's still outside, farting up the front door. Meanwhile, in Seattle.
He just come over there to shit in there. Fucking, how fucking petty is that? I'm just gonna come over here and shit on your camera.
Man, and I was gonna shit in there in a paper bag and take with me. Bullshit.
Aggressive man trespassing to poop in my yard. This guy came into our yard at 1:30 p.m. today on 1st and 42nd. By the time we got outside, he was about to pull his pants down to poop in one of our yard bags. We asked him to leave. He threw a chair at my boyfriend and started yelling at us about pooping in our yard, but did end up leaving, headed north down the street. There you go. Squirts like Godzilla.
So this guy was looking for a peaceful place to poop in somebody's backyard, but the homeowner caught him. Las Vegas, Nevada. So this guy broke inside of somebody's house while they were inside, took their car keys, and drove off with their car.
Sliding glass doors. Incredibly easy to break into. They look good, though.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in San Diego.
That's the same guy. That's the same guy just farted in there on their camera. Oh, that's that drunk guy over and over again. Same drunk guy.
You leave here? Yeah. All right, turn off your hands in your back right now. All right? You're being detained. You don't know you leave here, right? You don't know how it is? Yeah, so you're ready to be detained.
Yeah, he's just at the wrong house. He's like, you don't know if I live here, bro?
I just moved here.
That was a pretty good video.
You don't have keys or what? No. You have an idea, you? In my pocket. All right, where's your ID?
If you're looking for him, he's okay. The police have him.
Make sure you thumbs up this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. New episode coming tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Doorbell News Crime Watch coming to a neighborhood near you.
Make sure you subscribe today.
Damn, I'm going to subscribe to Doorbell News. That sounds pretty fun. Video, people behaving badly caught on Ring doorbell. Let's see what this one is. This is the one they have featured.
You are now watching Doorbell News.
North Hollywood, California. Remember this woman from a few episodes ago? She sounds like the Golem.
Oh, that's the same bitch. Is that a knife?
Yeah, it's the Golem. She's back. Yeah, let me look at my camera. What's wrong with you, lady? Get lost! Come get your girlfriend, buddy. Let me licking on my camera.
3 a.m. we had 2 visitors. One rang my doorbell and decided to lick it, then proceeded to knock on my door and try to pry the Ring device off the wall. I hate that there's a delay in the Ring camera. They were gone by the time I got to the door. First time I posted. Hope you can see the video. She probably squirts like a volcano, right?
We got a trash man here. Let's see what happens. Sacramento, California. This one's trying to get some fresh.
Put something in the trash can?
California. We got a trash man here. Let's see what happens. Sacramento, California. This one's trying to get some fresh air at almost 1 in the morning. This guy comes.
Homeless man, possibly with a gun on porch. 2 a.m. walks onto my porch, looks through our screen door. Video shows what looks like him tucking a gun into a plastic garbage bag under his right arm, then flashing it as he walks away. After my husband confronts him.
And starts creeping around his house and he's tucking something in his waist. Let's see what happens.
Knock, knock. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Excuse me. I apologize, man. I apologize. I'm sorry it's late. Okay.
Meanwhile,
These videos are fucking crazy. They beat the shit out of people in New York.
Wrong place, wrong time.
Hey guys. I'm not trying to open up your door, dude. I'm just at your door.
Okay, how can I help you?
You guys are screaming so loud, the whole neighborhood. 911. The cops are about to call, and I don't want to do that.
I don't give a we is at our house, lady. Don't you dare come to my house. Go on and get on.
No. I'm not trying to be that.
No. What you doing over here? No. Don't touch my door.
Sweetie, look.
I don't care. You. What is y'all doing over here?
Rochester, New York.
Wow.
NATV accident happens. This is why you always need to wear your safety equipment.
Kids riding all terrain without protective gear could have been hurt badly or killed. For sure.
Minneapolis, Minnesota. Looks like we got a Kia boy here.
Uh-oh. Kia boys. Dude, you just bust the window, bro.
We is in our home that we own, and my family is having a good time. What the hell you doing at my door? You get your drunk ass away from my door. Yes, you.
Okay. I'm a criminal offense attorney.
I don't give a fuck who you are.
I'm a criminal offense attorney?
Slamming like that, you ain't not a criminal offense attorney.
Do your job.
Go ahead.
We're not calling the police force. But we're not calling the police anyone, huh?
What would you do if she came over your house?
Because you're lying about it. It doesn't matter. We're not the shit. Hey, hold on.
Meanwhile, it goes to Mesa. He's back.
Now he put something else in the trash? What's he keep put? Oh, he's setting a bag on fire in the trash. I saw that one.
Huntington Beach, California. Apparently, this guy's trying to get inside of somebody's house with a Jimmy. Better make sure those doors are locked.
Attempted burglary, Spear Drive. Attempted burglary on Spear Drive, Huntington Beach. Suspect wearing gray shirt, blue jeans, red headband, carrying a red bag with silver ponytail and beer belly. 4424. Please call police if you see him. Somehow we ended up watching Doorbell News before, and I can't remember what we were doing.
Meanwhile in Tacoma, aka Compton.
I'm scared, man. Working the complex.
Police chase through our complex right now of 70th Avenue West. Have no other information. I'm scared. I'm scared. Hold on. That was funny. Kia Boys are Kia burgers. Kia Boys are I don't know if you've seen it. So Kia put out an update to fix their cars. Hyundais do it too. But basically with a Kia, you can so you bust the window out, you go and take a screwdriver and get just below the turn signal, pop the bottom of the steering wheel cover off. A lot of times the lock will go ahead and come out. If not, you knock the lock cylinder off, and there's just a USB port there. It was put in place for diagnostics when they were testing the vehicles when they're built. But you can just stick any USB cord in there and the car will start. They did an update. That fixes it if you go and have the update done. But a lot of people that are just lazy don't go do the updates. The Hyundai one, you can start with a screwdriver. After you knock the outside cylinder off, you can just use a screwdriver and start the car.
Meanwhile in Tacoma, aka Compton.
Get inside. Get inside. Get inside. Get inside.
I'm scared. I'm scared, man.
No one, no fucking problems. I'm scared. I'm scared.
Baltimore, Maryland. Wrong house, lady.
Ooh.
Hey, $30.99. I think this is.
Meanwhile in Georgia, looks like somebody took an ambulance truck and is going on a joyride.
Cut and stole the ambulance. That's a Lamborghini Parmigiano.
God damn, buddy, boys deep as hell.
Minneapolis.
These boys deep as hell. That's a Lamborghini Parmigiano.
Minnesota. Better make sure those backsliding doors are locked. Meanwhile in Fresno, they're still outside.
Oh my God! Now Grandma's coming out, bro. I'm gonna be the only 35-year-old with a goddamn walker with a chair built in a few weeks.
Talking to their neighbor.
Oh, she just had that BBL. She's still recovering. She ain't nobody's grandma.
Georgia, make sure you pay attention when you're driving.
Just nor paying attention. Car ran into dumpster. That's neutral.
Palmdale, California. It's 2 a.m. This guy standing in front of somebody's house with a Care Bear outfit on.
What's he spreading? Man in Care Bear suit ringing bell at 2 a.m. Dude, I'd be terrified. I'd be terrified. Come out shooting, motherfucker. He's ripping up bits of paper and throwing them like confetti.
Obviously, this lady got inside of someone's house. She's grabbing things.
Person stole. Does anyone recognize this person? She went inside and stole. Police report has been filed.
Meanwhile in Minneapolis.
Oh, Kia boy. He's not doing it right, dude. Just bust the fucking window. There is no hack to like unlocking the doors. You just bust the window and reach in.
Meanwhile in Cleveland, Ohio. This lady lost her dog and she's going around with a golf club banging on people's doors looking for them.
But if you'd like to leave a message, you can do it now.
Crazy lady beat on everyone's door with a golf club. She said an old lady with a bunch of kids stole her black dog. My dog, white and brown.
Hello.
Meanwhile in Costa Mesa, looks like the trash man did his job.
Okay.
Luckily the neighbor was
trash arson. A man in a white Jeep Grand Cherokee, newer model, lit my trash can on fire after 2 attempts at around 6 a.m. this morning.
able to put it out. Make sure you thumbs up this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel.
Jesus Christ. They're all fighting
haven't already. New episode coming tomorrow. Thanks for watching.
Part of the Homeowners Association, guys. You'll have that on these big jobs.
Doorbell News Crime Watch coming to a neighborhood near you.
Make sure you subscribe today.
This looks cool.
Turning this rusty old Chinese quad into a go-kart. We're starting out by disassembling the quad down to a rolling frame. Then out come the grinders to chop the whole thing in half. After figuring out our seating position,
that's pretty stretched out, bro,
and how the motor is going to be relocated, we grabbed some DOM tubing and some bar stock so we can make some plugs and stretch.
I need a garage again.
Obviously,
I'm going to have to rent another fucking storage unit to fucking work in.
Support, so we bend up some tubing to make these sidebars.
That's pretty wild looking.
We were going to use a traditional go-kart steering wheel, but in the end, utilizing the quad's original handlebars just made sense. We sacrificed some premium wrenches to make our shifter and a hydraulic handbrake.
Should we go test it now?
Maybe. Turning this rusty old...
Have you guys seen the... They're talking about bringing this out. I don't know if there's anybody that likes Jeeps. But there was, back in the day in Jeeps, there's something called a Jeep shortcut. And it was like a cheaper, smaller version of the Jeep. And they made it for a long time. And they made a concept about bringing it back. And they're talking about bringing it back. I don't know if they're going to or not. Here's from a month ago. No frills, no gigantic, like radio screen or LED touch screen cameras and shit. It's just a Jeep with a regular radio, a regular shifter and shit in it, but it's a lot smaller. It's called the Jeep Shortcut. They had one back in the 70s or some shit. But now they're talking about bringing this one back, the Jeep Shortcut. It's pretty cool.
And I are bringing you around this Jeep, talking about what this is, and more importantly, what it could be. All right, Nathan, so what are we looking at?
We're looking at actually what is an older concept. This is Shortcut. And Shortcut, well, it literally is Shortcut because this took a Wrangler two-door and shortened it quite a bit and basically gave you everything you need and nothing you don't. And I'm literally saying that because no doors, no back seat, no spare tire. What you have here is a V6 automatic transmission, 4x5, Dana 40s. This is a vehicle that just is a basic off-roader. No fancy lockers, nothing like that.
The
reason why I'm excited about this, and Tommy, I think, as well.
In 2024, it'd be cool.
Is because recently we did a video where we were talking about various automakers, including Jeep, building a much more affordable, smaller Jeep for folks who want to actually afford an off-roader, a proper off-roader. And something like this is kind of what we're talking about because its overall size is only about a foot longer than my old Suzuki Samurai.
Now, Nathan, this is why this is so important. So this is a 2016 Easter Jeep Safari concept, but they brought it back this year in 2024. And, Nathan, that could be a sign that Jeep is working on something a little special, a more affordable...
I like those plaid seats, like the throwback to the plaid. See them there? It would definitely be something to play in the woods with, right? And the Shortcut badging they already own. They already got trademarks on it because they had a Shortcut before. It would be cool to play in the woods. It probably wouldn't be your daily driver, especially if you have winters and shit.
The company is very deliberate in the actions that they make at the Easter Jeep Safari. They're really deliberate in teasing things, and I'm hoping that this is a teaser.
I would agree 100%. Now, a couple things you should know. There is room back here for a rear seat, but there is no rear seat back here.
Yeah.
Obviously, what they...
There's the gas tank.
They do is they take these vehicles and chop them up and everything else. Now, Mark Allen, who used to be head of Jeep Design, he is responsible for this vehicle with other people. Here we go, look at that, Shortcut.
Yeah. Now let's talk about what makes this Jeep so special, Nathan. So it started out life as a two-door JK, right? But they took 14 inches out of the length, and they also heavily revised the design. So this is not actually a JK grille. This is unique to this vehicle.
That's right. Now, what you can see right here is they also took out some length in the front bumper. They did everything they could to make the approach angle as, well, frankly, as good as you could possibly make it. I mean, honestly speaking, if you look where this bumper comes versus where the tires go, that's extraordinary. You could practically go up a wall. But what's really cool is they did the same thing in the back.
Yeah, right. Now this tub is also heavily revised. Nathan, if I had to guess, we're probably looking at a several...
It doesn't even look like a sheet metal tub. It looks like fiberglass.
$100,000 concept.
Oh, easily.
Because not only did they change the grill on the bumper, but this whole tub is different. This cut line is different from a production Jeep. The way that the fenders meet up, all of this is revised and it looks factory, but that all came at great expense.
That's correct. And also remember, it's a Jeep. It's a proper Wrangler. As such, it's based on a frame. And they had to take that frame and
condense that as well, and that's tough. Yeah, we also have this sports bar back here, so it doesn't have a traditional sports bar from a standard JK. It's got this little baby one that kind of extends around the side. The fuel filler had to move to the trunk here, Nathan.
Yeah, because it used to be back here, and it's no longer here as spot, so this makes sense. I don't think something like this would be like part of the production of a future vehicle like this, but I still think it's a really cool, simple solution to what this vehicle has. Now, bear in mind, they would, of course, add a tire here, so what would that be? About 150 to 200 pounds, and if you think about the mounting brackets and all the other stuff they'd have here, so they're saving weight there. That seat and all the brackets there, that's probably another 100 pounds right there. Altogether, if I recall, this thing was like 900 pounds or something, less than the equivalent two-door Wrangler.
It doesn't even have a standard swing gate from a Wrangler.
No.
It's a custom little tailgate, which is really cool, that folds down. And Nathan, I'm going to give you the camera. Let's talk about some of the changes on the inside. This year's Easter Jeep Safari coverage is brought to you by our friends over at AccuAir. AccuAir does a 4-corner air suspension section below. So Nathan, the inside of this Jeep is bare bones and stripped down. We've got this really cool plaid design with this alligator finish on the seats. No screens, no fancy features in here, no adaptive cruise control. This is simple, basic round mirrors, basic button radio. This is what I'd want in an all-new, affordable, open-top Wrangler.
If they make it, it probably won't end up looking much like, I mean, kind of like this, but this is obviously a concept.
Oh yeah, Nathan,
that sounds pretty good.
Basic Pentastar 3.6 V6. It's got kind of a good growl.
You know, normally I do not like exhaust packages on the Pentastar. Normally they sound like industrial to me. This one, it's kind of got a nice little growl to it.
You're exactly right, my dude. So Nathan, let's talk about what this could look like if this was to absolutely zooms, and then perhaps even the 2-liter turbo could make it under the hood of a new tiny Wrangler.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's a little bit lighter. Perhaps that would be something that you'd want. This is a vehicle to save weight. I know I'm one to talk, but but seriously, they want to make this as light as possible. And look at the mirrors themselves. They say weight on those as well.
Yeah.
They've done everything they can to make this a very lightweight vehicle. No roll bar going around us, only the rear loop bar, really. So if you're thinking about the powertrain, how can you make that lighter and yet still maintain power? Perhaps a 2-liter turbo would be the way to go. I don't know.
And look, realistically, if this were to come into production, you'd probably need doors. You'd probably need side curtain airbags. Right? Yep. This is not a particularly safe vehicle, but I would kind of just want something exactly like this in my cut-down Wrangler. A little hood bump on that custom hood, a short wheelbase, pretty light steering, 35-inch tall tires are plenty on this vehicle.
More than enough.
They look huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, this thing is awesome, Nathan, and I'm really excited about why they brought this back 8 years after this car was revealed. It might be a hint that something's coming up.
That's happened before at Jeep, so this wouldn't be the first time.
Now, what would you expect something like this to cost if it were to hit dealers, Nathan?
Okay, so let's first of all imagine that it has all the required safety components on it and probably a tire hanging off the back. So it's going to be heavier and it's going to be safer. So it's going to be required that they have that type of expensive tech on there, right?
Yeah.
They'll probably have to put some sort of screen on here because they have to have a reverse camera. It's required.
True that.
So those things combined,
a reverse camera is required now?
I would imagine this would be something that would start at about $35,000.
35?
Yep.
Now I would hope maybe even a little cheaper, maybe like 25 grand.
I would hope.
Topping out at 40. Because then if you go too much more than that, you're going to start interfering with Wrangler prices.
Yeah.
But look, we live in an era of pretty high inflation.
That's my issue, right?
You're probably right, yeah. But the way that this vehicle performs off-road, you know, at the Easter Jeep Safari, we see...
I didn't even know that was a requirement. I know that most modern cars have them, but I didn't know it was a requirement.
Hundreds of vehicles on 37, 40-inch tall tires, and they're huge behemoths that kind of lumber down the trail. This is like a little lightweight pocket rocket. It just dives and pitches like it's nothing.
Yeah, it's like a little beach buggy almost, right? So they put a lot of time in...
I don't know. It's cool. All right, guys. I'm out of here. Hope you had fun. I didn't feel like doing a show, but I feel better now. I'm going to take my cane and go home. Rest my ankle. Thank you guys for joining us. I appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you want to support the show, go to coldbeer.fund. If you don't. And we'll see everybody tomorrow. Have a good night. See you on the next one.
But I can tell you this about if this douchebag happens to see this particular show, you don't have the forking balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the forking balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott.
You look more tanned than yesterday. I don't know. I came like a volcano last night, so maybe that's it. You tell me.
Better buckle up, 'cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set.
Send me that Zally. Zally me.
And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6th sense for the stupid shit. Where my true believers? Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord, head to the extreme. All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a
Bologna fried.
Swinging fucking meat hammers like fool in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, eating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your Huckleberry, I can
lava burn, maybe, yeah. Radiant heat.
Lizard people, alien sex. What's next?
You're working too late there, Pebbles. We just hung out. I don't feel good. You didn't miss anything super important.
think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Hit the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't.
I did hear that Phil's suing Jesus. Someone posted on Twitter that Jesus hates pedos. So Phil seems to be suing Jesus.
Best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped it to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16. High on amphetamine, with Trump in between. Put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, this is gonna be it. Whoa, wait. Stop. What? I'll get my files. Wait, what are you doing? Stop. Hold on. Fucking stop. Dude, come on. Seriously. This is my mom's an alcoholic. Give me a... Oh, my God. Damn it.
Have a good night, guys. We'll see you on the next one.
Here we go. I think I started some shit.
Let El Jefe know that I love him.
Hit the place in the best. You know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go. I think I started some shit.